Yeah, here we are. It's 8 o'clock, and we're doing a virtual Burning Man. Incredible. My name's Ed. Uh, I did 3 center stage performances in a row, and I talked about hemp and educated folks about the incredible plant, industrial hemp. And I was invited this year to give a virtual show and sit back. I'm going to share this for an hour, I hope. And it's going to be very educational and it's amazing. There's Truffle right next to me, and this is live, so she could start barking. It's happened before, and probably in the next hour she will. We'll try to keep her under control. But this is an amazing story, and it'll be like nothing I've presented at Burning Man before. And I've given a lot of presentations at Burning Man, like 10. And they always change and they're always different. But this story is getting freaking amazing. So just kind of sit back and relax, and you'll learn a lot. And really, it started a long time ago, thousands of years ago. That's right. Hemp is one of the oldest cultivated crops by man. And for a great reason. Number one, it has grain seeds. And imagine thousands of years ago cultivating hemp and keeping those seeds all winter long, traveling with hemp seeds. They're nourishing as all get out. They are also filled with omega-3s and omega-6s. As a matter of fact, hemp seed oil has more omega-3s and omega-9s than any other plant oil, any other seed oil. It's literally the healthiest seed oil on the planet. And it's good for food, for oil, obviously, and for feed for animals. It has many other uses. And then there's the flowers. The hemp flowers are magical. And they kept people healthy year round. And then they have a great stalk. And hemp stalks, I'm telling you right now, they're great to burn. They put off a lot of heat. We know this firsthand. You'll hear more about this later. They're also great for making clothes. Boom. This is a hemp shirt. I got my hemp pants on, my hemp underwear. I mean, I'm pretty much all hemped out, as we all should be. And in addition to that, you can make paper out of hemp. And that's been happening for a long time. This isn't anything new. So this one plant has so much to offer, and we're just learning all about the other things we can do with hemp. We are starting to make plastics out of hemp, biodegradable plastics. Oh my. It's incredible. So even though it's thousands of years old, the craziest thing happened. Because it's such an amazing plant, and because you can make so many things out of this one plant, in the 1930s, the big corporations got together and they tried to pay off the politicians and the lobbyists believe it or not, were successful. And in 1937, oh, it was dark. They passed, the Senate and the House, signed by the president, the Marijuana Tax Act. So if you did grow hemp, you were taxed through the roof and no one could grow hemp. And that was the end of the hemp industry in the United States. Now, states like Kentucky, they had hemp things going all over the place. They were making canvas, like sales from cannabis. That's right, that's where the word came from. They were making cordage, ropes for the shipping industry, for industrial purposes. I mean, it was going on big time around the United States. George Washington grew hemp. So many of our founding fathers grew hemp. As a matter of fact, before the United States was formed, we, Americans, had to ship a certain amount of our hemp crops to England. That was the deal in the 1500s and 1600s. Well, in 1937, that all stopped. But some crazy things happened. In let's see, what year was that? Well, in about 1944, the government legalized hemp for like less than 2 years to feed the war, World War II. I mean, this is insane. They made it okay to grow hemp to clothe our servicemen. And then the war was over and hemp became illegal again. So freaking stupid. So, what else happened? In 2012, now we're moving up in time. The people of Colorado got Amendment 44 on the ballot to legalize hemp. Whoa! Yes. And guess what? In November of 2012, Amendment 64 passed, and hemp, for the first time in the history of the universe, became legal in the United States. Because it was always legal. And then in 1937, it became illegal. So with this legislation, only in Colorado did they legalize hemp, again, for the first time ever. So 2012 was a pretty magical year in that, this made international news. And then in 2013, the House and the Senate in Colorado I'm going to turn off this phone. I'm sorry about that. House and Senate in Colorado had to really get off their duff and pass legislation signed by the governor. And they went and through the Colorado Department of Ag, decided to write brand new laws to grow hemp in the state of Colorado. Now, in that year and years before, we have a company and we process biomass like corn stalks, wheat straw, trees, plants that grow biomass. And we had been processing biomass starting in 2000, really. And we got pretty good at it. And because of my history with processing biomass, the Colorado Senate and House invited me to be on the Industrial Hemp Advisory Board. So I kind of got an intimate view from the inside on this new industry. And our committee worked real hard in 2013 2013. And in 2014, we had the first legal sow and grow and harvest. Wow. I remember it well. My brother Corell and I, we bought whole hemp plants in September and October of 2014. And we started running the hemp stalks through our reactor that year. And we started learning how to play with the cannabinoids, with the flowers, and extracting the cannabinoids to make CBD rich tinctures. And it was an amazing year for us. Another incredible thing happened that year in 2014. Some very forward-thinking people, total visionaries. Morris, and a lot of people know Morris Beagle, and Lizzie Knight. They started what's now called NOCO Hemp Expo. And NOCO is an abbreviation for Northern Colorado. And the first 4 NOCOs were in Northern Colorado, around Fort Collins. And then Loveland, that's right, in the land of love. And the early NOCOs were great. You could go to NOCO and you could buy hemp clothes. You could hear talks about hemp. You could meet people all over the world in the hemp industry. Phenomenal. NOCO is still going on. It's the oldest, not cannabis, not marijuana, but hemp trade show on the planet. You'll hear more about NOCO. So that was their first one, right when hemp became legal in the United States. Okay, the next year, whoa, 2015. That was an amazing year because our company, we started processing the whole plant, and we really had then the first hemp refinery where we took whole plants, we dried them, we took all the seeds to go into products, we took all the flowers, and we made cannabinoid infused products, and we took the stalks and we started making pulp and sugar. That's right, sugar with the stalks. And lignin. At that time, we were the only company in the world making hemp lignin, which comprises of about 20% of all hemp plants on the planet. 20% of those plants are lignin, Lignin. And to this day, we're probably the only company in the world still making hemp lignin. And you can do a lot of things with hemp lignin. And if you've never heard of it, in the coming years, it will blow you away what we, mankind, can do with lignin. So, we had the first hemp refinery. And because we were kind of out there, there's another trade association, HIA, Hemp Industries Association. I was actually invited to give an hour presentation at their annual meeting, which took place in Louisville. That was a blast. They usually are. And right after my presentation, I was walking off the stage, and this guy bigger than life comes up to me, gives me his card, and he's about this much taller than me. And he goes, "We want to invest in you." That was the greatest presentation I've ever heard. I swear. And I looked at his card because he just walked away, and it was David Bronner. Wow, I've always wanted to meet that guy. I had no idea with his hair bun, he's about 6'8". He's bigger than life. And that night, we went to the same party, and we kind of got to know each other. So hey, we're moving on with time. 2016, oh my God, what a year. I mean, 2016 started off, now here's the Burning Man story. There was an attorney in LA who's been a burner a long time. And as most of us know, Burning Man, it's really not about hemp. It's about whatever you make it. But this attorney called one of the premier attorneys in Colorado, specializing in cannabis and hemp, and called up Bob, who owns the company. Bob, we'd like you to get some guys together, some people together, come to Burning Man and educate people about this amazing plant. Now, we're not talking about marijuana. We're talking about hemp. They're cousins. Marijuana, you get a nice buzz. You can smoke the buds of hemp and you'll get a headache before you get high. You won't get high. So it's not about getting high. So hemp is literally cannabis, but it's the sober cousin of marijuana. And that's really important for folks to know. It's not a drug at all. So Bob said, yeah, I've always wanted to go to Burning Man. And he got a group of us, and there was 5 of us. And we went to Burning Man for the first time in 2016. Now, before that actually happened, I left out a really good part of this story. NOCO in 2016 was bigger than ever. And that year I bought hemp socks and hemp shirts, a hemp hat, and they have the fashion alley. And there's people from all over the world selling hemp clothes. I actually bought my first pair of hemp tennis shoes from Romania. Man, this is great to go to these kind of conferences, learn about hemp, talk about hemp, meet other people in the industry. And so that was an amazing NOCO. So then we loaded up the RV and drove out to Burning Man. I'll never forget this. And, we go through the front gate, made love to the sand, got initiated. Took us a while to get through the gate, and we're on 6 o'clock where you enter. And I had been the driver for most of the trip. And so Colorado to Black Rock City. And we just, right off of 6th, found a big place to parked, and I got out. One guy was sleeping. Another guy just didn't want to go anywhere. And I just started walking. And, I didn't have any lights on, but I was on 6 o'clock just going. And I could see the man in the distance. And by the way, for those of you that haven't gone to Burning Man, the Burning Man is usually the tallest piece of art in all the playa. So you can kind of get directions just by keying in on where the man is, if you can see the man. And I could see the man. And so I started walking toward the man, going down 6 o'clock. And, fortunately it was pretty lit up, but it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. And people going, hey, you got to put some lights on your head or something. Now you're going to get run over. And that's what happens. You can't go to the playa or the deep playa unless you have lights on at night. And everybody's got lights. The bikes have lights. Everybody's tricked out. And it's just this magical scene that I'd never seen or imagined before. And I was just walking along and seeing these people and hearing music and people on their bikes and these art cars. I mean, come on. That was my intro. And I keep walking closer to the man, and all of a sudden, in the middle of the street, there's art, big old panels of art. I'm going, wow. And I was checking each panel out one by one. And I kind of walked around, and then there's this big building, big tent, people coming in and out. This is like 2 a.m. I'm going, I got to go in here. I didn't want to be on the street without lights. I go inside, and it's center camp. So I literally walked right to center camp, the first, destination. By coincidence, I had no idea what center camp was. I hadn't heard about center camp. But when you read the book and you see the layout of Burning Man, it's all based on a circle, and it's all based on time. And 6 o'clock, you walk right in the center of the clock is exactly where center camp is. And if you follow that up to 12 o'clock, that's where Burning Man is. So it's in a perfect line. And then the temple is at the beginning of the deep playa, and it's all lined out. So I'm in the center camp, and I hear a little act over here, and then there's tons of art. I was checking out the art, and there's a little cafe, and I didn't know anything about this. I had always heard everything's bartered and you don't really buy anything. And I actually asked somebody, so you can buy stuff here? Well, this is the only place in Burning Man, beside buying ice, where you buy something, and it's open 24/7 for, a week. And you can buy hot coffee, cocoa, tea. If you're not feeling well, you can go there and hang out. It's a nice place. And then there's this large main stage, and I go up there and I'm checking out an act, and I'm kind of, after 15 minutes, they got done, and I'm going, God, what a cool gig. And we had been invited to do a gig, from this whole setup. I forgot to tell this part of the story. And our group of 5 guys were invited to give a gig at a camp, and they just got the 747 set up on the Esplanade. And that was the camp that we were supposed to give a hemp presentation. So before Burning Man 2016, I had some friends that are burners, and they knew I was giving a hemp presentation at the 747. Long story short, they got me indirectly involved with some of the camp founders of Camp Merkaba, and Camp Merkaba asked me to give a hemp presentation. So that was all prearranged before I got to Burning Man. So I go backstage. We're back at center stage. And I said, God, how do you get booked? And the stage manager goes, oh, this is booked months in advance. So, and I said, well, no. He goes, well, what do you do? I said, well, I'm here giving hemp presentations. He goes, really? I go, yep, I've got 2 booked. And he goes, well, I'll tell you what, come back tomorrow morning at 8 and see if there's any openings. Sometimes there's cancellations. I did. I came back at 8 o'clock. I met Sparrow, and she said, no, we're booked. And she goes, well, let me check the schedule. We might have an opening. And she goes, wow, somebody just canceled. And the slot was at 3:30 a.m. Wednesday morning. You want it? Oh, definitely. So I gave my first hemp presentation actually at Camp Merkaba, and that was magical by all means. As a matter of fact, the 4 guys who I went to Burning Man with, they all came together about 10 minutes after I started. And so they got to see this magic go down, and it was crazy what happened there. And I had my guitar and my little amp. See, I think I brought my amp just to show. Oh yeah, here's the amp that I had at Burning Man. It's the Honeycomb, and then I put a little mic up to it uh, at center camp, and it was on a chair, and I had my electric guitar. It was pretty comical. But at Camp Merkaba, the act before me was this DJ, and he was just cranking out the grooves. And even though I had my guitar and my amp and they had a microphone, I asked this gentleman to keep playing these grooves he was on. And he said, sure. And so instead of the guitar, I just had the microphone and I was kind of rapping and moving to the groove. And it just kind of flowed out. And the people at Camp Merkaba, and by the way, what Camp Merkaba gives back to Burning Man is they have this huge lounge and it's covered so you can escape the hot sun in the day. And it's these massive amounts of pillows, and you just go anytime, 24/7. You can fall asleep, crash out, hang out, talk on these pillows. And when I started, there was a lot of people sleeping. And by the end, everybody was up. And by the very end, I was walking around with CBD tinctures, and I was dousing everybody in the crowd. And then after I was done, a bunch of people came around. They'd never heard of hemp. They'd never heard of CBD. So it was totally educational. But at center camp, that year, my first year, it was an amazing show. Again, at 3:30 in the morning, I'm up there. It just started off with about 3 or 4 people. By the end of the hour, I kind of filled the place. And that was an amazing year. After that, I heard all about the pyramids burning. And I checked out the pyramids that year. And it's these 2 giant wooden pyramids. You could go in, hang out, and they're burning the pyramids Friday morning at sunrise. And so I stayed out all night Thursday night. I had finished my 3 presentations and danced all night to art cars and partied and do what we do. And then about 4:30, I went to the temple, and I was kind of coming down a little burned out. Hadn't slept but 2 hours the night before. And I am going to take it easy. I had my iPhone. I set the alarm, to wake up, to walk on over to the pyramids to see him burn. And I tried to sleep, but it was too keyed up. And the temple was so amazing. I mean, people go there. It's quiet. That year, the temple was insane. It was the most beautiful structure, so well built. And people go and think about their loved ones, think about and meditate about the loved ones who have passed recently in the last year or any time. And they have memorials and pictures and praying and meditating. It's a beautiful place to hang. And I got my fill there and started walking over to the pyramids. And this was insane. Can you imagine? In the neighborhood, and then the playa, in the deep playa, everyone, thousands of people going all slow. The art cars can't move more than 5 miles an hour. The bikes are faster than the art cars, and people walking. And from every direction, people are going to the pyramids. And it was still dark out. And by the time I walked from the temple to the pyramid, dawn was just beginning. And the pyro crew, had it all laid out, and you could get in a big circle around the pyramids. And, the circle's probably at least a quarter mile around. I mean, the pyramids are big. They're 40 feet tall. And you got to get way back because there's a lot of wood that gets burned. And another long story short, they lit the pyramids, and the pyro crew did it all in sync. And it just boom. There must have been 200 people on the pyro crew for that burn. And the sun started coming up, and these pyramids started blazing. And it was unbelievable. I mean, I keep saying that, but this was unbelievable. I've got a picture here that I'm going to show you. But what happened is this massive amount of heat that's pushing up, well over 100 feet. The flames were way bigger than the 40 feet pyramids. And it takes a huge amount of oxygen. So air comes in from all over to feed the flames. And what was going on is, with this massive amount of air coming in and this heat going up, these little twisters were birthed in the pyramids, and they'd move at about a mile an hour, maybe 2 miles an hour, because that's how slow the wind was going that morning. And it'd go toward the crowd over there. And it was pretty freaky because this wasn't a little twister. I mean, truffle, settle down. These were major twisters. And if you were in the middle of that twister, you'd get, lifted up and spun around. I mean, they were dangerous. And what was going on is one twister after another, and these twisters were born in the pyramid, and nobody'd seen anything like that. Well, I certainly hadn't, but all the people around, oh my God, look at that. Have you ever seen that? It's going crazy. I finally was flipping out so much, I was going, how can I explain this to people? So I had my iPhone. I took a 5-minute video of this. Boom, end of story. That next week was the HIA conference. This year, it was in Denver. It's where I live. That's where I am right now. I'm in my house, Denver, Colorado. And I play guitar here every night after I come home from work. I hang out with my wife. We have dinner together. She watches TV, and I play guitar. And so we go to the HIA conference, and we're hanging out. And I just got back from Burning Man a couple days before, and I was pretty burned out because I didn't sleep much. And I had my phone with the video, and it was pretty amazing because I was showing a couple people the video. And then David Bronner walks in, and he goes, "Hey, Ed." I was sitting by the bar. He comes over and talks to me. We talked for a couple of minutes, and he goes, "God, you're kind of looking a little burned out." I said, "Yeah, I haven't slept much, and I was at Burning Man." He goes, "Oh, yeah, I was there." And I said, "Did you see the pyramids burn?" He goes, "Man, I've heard so much about that." I said, "I've got a video." And so he took my phone, sat at the end of the bar for 5 minutes, watched this video. And on this 5-minute video, there's 14 of these twisters that are birthed and go off the screen. And at one time, there's 3 of them. They're like, pfft. And the crazy thing about these twisters, check this out. They've got a tail about, I hope you can see this. I hope there's not too much reflections. But if you look really closely at the twister and you follow it up, those tails go way up in the sky. Oh, that's bad light. I'm sorry. Let's just see. Now check that out. Looks like a dragon. You can see the eye of the dragon shooting flames down at the pyramid. And look at that. Look at that twister. That sucker goes way up in the sky and it goes way up here. In the twisters, I'm not kidding. On ground level, they're just moving slow. But up high, they're whipping around. And when there's three of them, these guys are just dancing up there. It's insane. So David saw that and he comes to me, he goes, "You got to stay at my camp next year." I was going, "Wow, are you serious?" "Yes." So I stayed at Bronner's camp, and let's see how much time I got. So we're doing okay. So next year rolls around, 2017, at NOCO. My wife, I bought hemp clothes like I always do, but my wife was there. She bought me a pair of hemp jeans, first time ever, and a pair of hemp underwear, black hemp underwear. And it was very cool. It was just an amazing gift. And that was a Saturday, the last day of NOCO, and we had our things set up and we worked late. That next morning, I walk Truffle every morning. She kind of gets me up and we go walking. And this was like April the 2nd. It's kind of cold. And I had all this hemp clothes and new hemp clothes. So that morning, I wore my new underwear, my pants. I had hemp socks. I had my hemp shoes. I had my hemp shirt. And then I had a hoodie, a hemp hoodie, and I had my hemp hat. I was totally hemped out, I swear, from head to toe. And that morning, and as a matter of fact, this is my guitar rag, but check this out. This is a celebration. This was from NOCO, Morris and Lizzie, 2015 hemp harvest party. And so, you buy stuff like this. But what I'm going to do is just get all hemped out right now. And that Sunday, I'm walking and I'm strutting and I'm kind of walking in rhythm. And my dog is looking up at me. God, what is wrong with you today? Because I'm totally, into it. And I was walking and I was feeling so good. And, you have to understand, hemp clothes do change your chemistry. Don't ask me how. You hear a lot of crazy things about hemp, but when you're all hemped out, I was just feeling so good. And all of a sudden, I started getting this groove going. Well, let's kind of groove on here. Get all hemped out from your head down to your toes, yeah. Get all hemped in and out, baby. Bring on the hardy grows, yeah. Sun shines beams onto the land. It heats up the dirts and the clays and the sands. Water flows onto the earth. The magic begins with this birth. Embrace plants grown organically and spread this gospel to your family and friends and communities. Get all hemped out from your head down to toes. Yeah, oh yeah. Get all hemped in and out, baby. Bring on the hardy grows. Sisters and bros. Oh yeah. Hail to the harvest. Hail to the heavens for this bountiful harvest. We cut and we bale and we sow and we thresh, and then we process into shoes, into socks, into pants, into skirts, in wallets and hats and scarves and shirts, in lotions and potions and foods and cars and whatever else that can be imagined from here to Mars. Get all hemmed out from your head down to your toes, yeah. Get all hemp in and out, baby. Bring on the heart, it grows, and then the saxophone comes in. Yeah, get all hemmed out from your head down to your toes, yeah. Get all hemmed in and out, ladies and gentlemen. Bring on the hearty grows. Okay, what can all of us do to help the hemp industry? We can go online and buy hemp clothes. You don't have to learn technology or invest in anything. Just buy some hemp clothes and start this industry going just a little stronger and keep it going, because this amazing plant is all about building hemp refineries to replace oil refineries. That's our mission. That's our mission globally. Hemp refineries. Change the world with hemp refineries everywhere. And let's start anywhere. Okay, man, we're moving on through time. That next year, here we go again. We're in 2017. And NOCO started off with a bang. And a lot of things happened. And I was invited back to center stage to give another presentation. That year, I was also invited to give a hemp presentation at Red Lightning Camp. Oh my God, what an amazing camp. What an amazing bunch of people. That's a whole other story, because that year they had Native American Indians camped out at Camp Lightning, at Red Lightning. And I met some of the, tribes of fathers. And they were actually coming from North Dakota and South Dakota, and they were, at the pipeline, trying to stop that stupid Keystone pipeline. And they actually took embers that were burning there in the Dakotas, transported them to Burning Man. They were set up literally right across from Esplanade on the playa. And they had 8 teepees right across the Esplanade from Red Lightning. And when I was hanging out there, they were burning the fires, and you could meet some of these amazing elders. And those embers were used to light Burning Man that year, 2017. And I came back from the center camp gig, and I went, and I was staying at Camp Transformation. You know what I'm talking about now. Anyone at Burning Man can get foamed at Camp Transformation. Free showers for all. Wow, do they know how to give back? Bless you guys and gals. And I come back and I had my guitar and I had my little amp and I was coming into the camp, and the camp father, AB, goes, Ed, what's going on? And he kind of knew me because I helped set up and we kind of got to know each other in our company, Pure Hemp Technology. He was asking about it. And he's going, Ed, why don't you figure out how to make Burning Man out of 100% hemp? Whoa, 2017. It kind of went in one ear, went around and out the other ear. Well, Burning Man came and went. I came back to Colorado, and I'm sitting right where I'm sitting now. This is a couple months later in November of 17. And just in a split second, bam, bam, I got this concept of building not Burning Man, but woman. Burning woman. And unlike burning the man and burning all the art at Burning Man, this is like open up to interpretation. Why do they burn the man? And you can ask 20 people and you'll get 20 different answers sometimes. Why do they burn this amazing art at Burning Man? Again, there's no rhyme or reason. And the best explanation I've heard, because I always ask that at Burning Man, why do you think they're burning this shit? And the best explanation that I've gotten so far was, people are digging way too deep on this. The guy who really started Burning Man, and the first Burning Man, this is Larry Harvey, got together with some friends. They're at the beach. They were burning shit up and they were blowing shit up. They were pyros. They like to do that kind of shit. And it just evolved. So there may not really be a big purpose, but Burning Woman has a purpose. She's made out of 100% hemp. And this was in 2017 when this was all conceived. We're going to burn the woman, not anytime soon, in 2020. And we are, what time is it here? Okay, we're going to burn the woman in 2020 to symbolize the new age of consciousness of mankind. And what's going to happen? From her ashes will birth this new stream of consciousness for man to transition away from an oil-based economy into a bio-based economy. And it's the hemp inspired that are going to lead this charge. So that was conceived in 2017. 2018, the woman was built out of 100% hemp. And when I built her, one of her hands was like this. In the other, she was holding an earth, a Mother Earth. And it was peace to Mother Earth. And that's kind of peace to Mother Earth is what she meditates. And this is what we all want to transition, getting away from this manly energy and start thinking of the kinder, more feminine side of all of us and embrace this moment in the future and prepare for it. So in 2018 at NOCO, the woman was presented, and the founders of NOCO totally embraced this Perfect Vision 2020 is what it was called. And it caught on amongst a few of us. And Burning Man 2018, I brought the woman with us. We drove out with the hemp woman, and she was proudly displayed at Foam Against the Machine camp. And I gave a hemp presentation there, and I gave another one at Center Camp, and that was like the craziest presentation. After my presentation, I said, if anybody's sore, come on up, I'll give you some paintball. And 12 people came up, and it was like it was canned and staged. Everybody who came up was telling the crowd how their pain went away. So that was a very magical year. We had the woman. It went off really well. She toured Earth Day, Balboa Park, San Diego, and she went to KFS, which was a music festival, and she kind of made her way around. Then the next year, oh my God, what a year, 2019. I didn't go to Burning Man that year because our company and a university we'd been working with for 12 years had a major breakthrough. We figured out the code how to economically make biodegradable plastic out of 100% hemp. No oil inputs, no plant-based sugars like corn. That's how we make polylactic acid out of corn sugar. This is 100% hemp. Amazing technology. And that was the breakthrough for our company. 2020 rolls around. Morris Beagle calls me up in January. Ed, it's 2020. Where are we burning the woman? And the first concept was NOCO in Colorado. And in February, you guys all know what happened. The plague hit, and pretty soon NOCO starts in March, and they canceled NOCO. And then we were thinking, okay, we won't do it in Colorado. We'll do it at the Southern Hemp Expo at the SHE. And that goes on in August. Well, they canceled that. And we were going to do it at Burning Man. That was the original concept that Abner thought of in 2017. They canceled that. So, dear friends of mine who are in the hemp industry with me, we bonded in an amazing way at Burning Man in 2018. I called them up. They own 175 acres in the mountains of Colorado. And and I've been there, and they have an amazing piece of ground. And then they have another 125 acres of BLM land, Bureau of Land Management. So they have like 300 acres, a creek, trees, shady areas, mountains, red rocks, cliffs. Oh God, it goes on. I call them up. Would you consider hosting Burning Woman? And they knew all about Burning Woman. From the ashes of the burning woman will spawn the new age of enlightenment for mankind and for our planet. Long story short, we had Burning Woman at this mountain property a couple of weeks ago. It was enormously successful. And if anyone's interested out there, we've got our Burning Woman book. Send me an email and I'll send it to you. A lot of thought, a lot of love, a lot of messaging, a lot of depth went into this, and we're going to do it again. My email is ed@purehemptech.com. And in the subject, just write Burning Man or Burning Woman, and I'll send you a book that we printed on hemp paper and gave it to all the participants. And we burned the woman, and boy, I better get going. And it was magical. And it's all about saving the world with hemp refineries everywhere. Save the world with hemp refineries everywhere. And let's start here, right now. Ooh, ooh, yeah, well, we got to come together from all over the world. And we gotta make things happen in a very positive way. In this land of love, we are creating the future at this moment, where the hemp revolution must keep on getting stronger. Well, we have all come together around cannabis as we praise the water and the soil and the sun and the moon. Yeah, this is our family. This is who we are and where we all come from. Well, major changes must take place involving all of us. What our government and big corporations did was a crime. Yeah, well, we must pull all of this together. Yeah, develop hemp refineries one at a time. Yeah, commit, make a decision, join this pure vision. We gotta get in sync, don't matter what other people might think. Part of one hemp refinery anywhere. Oh yeah, one hemp refinery everywhere, y'all. Well, leaders from all over the world convened in Paris about 5 years ago to try and figure out how to curb carbon pollution. Because we're all involved with choking our own at home. Yeah, we've got to be part of the solution. Say what? That's right. We gotta be the solution because we're all involved with this here hemp revolution. Yeah, 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 yeah. Break it on down for a minute. We the hemp inspired, we got us a solution to curb the problems of too much carbon pollution and about 1 million other ailments. It all comes down to hemp, where communities sew together and develop hemp refineries everywhere. We're gonna wave our hemp flags high, infuse the pure kind into our bodies, souls, and mind. Hey, invest in hemp and move this industry forward. Yeah, invest in hemp in every city and town. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Invest in hemp, we all share these feelings. Yeah, invest in hemp and wear those hemp clothes around. Y'all, come on. Invest in hemp and wear those hemp clothes. Right. Save the world with hemp refineries everywhere. Save the world. Change the world with with hemp refineries everywhere. Yeah, change the world with hemp refineries everywhere. Billions of people are counting on us at this time. We must all come together in this land of